Hi everyone, welcome to Bite-sized Pixels, where we take a bite out of a game, but not more than we can chew. I'm Em, and he's Farhan,
Hi,
and today our game is dun 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 dun.
Valorant.
Yay!
Right. So, Valorant, as you may know, is a competitive first-person shooter published by Riot Games, and they are most famous for League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra. But this is their first foray into the 5v5 competitive shooter scene, and we're here to talk about that today. So,
Yay!
should we just got off a few games of Valorant? That was it's a very tense game. It was a close game, but it ended in a draw.
Yay,
So
at least it's
I
not a
think
loss.
that's true. That's true. And I think that's actually one of the good things about 5v5 shooters like Valorant. It can lead to some really nice, tense moments in games. That I think is really fun. At least
Right.
I don't know what's your take on 5v5 shooters in general, and I guess more specifically towards Valorant.
Well, I mean, we've been playing like competitive shooter scene since somewhere between 2015. Yeah,
Yeah, that was CS:GO.
yeah. So we came from CS:GO. We've clocked in I've clocked in nearly 2,000 hours, and
Yeah, about the same for me.
yeah. So we've played a lot of CS:GO, and like moving towards Valorant, it was very exciting because we finally have sort of a competitor to CS:GO, and
Right.
a gameplay style that also is very similar, but it's not something more arcadey like Call of Duty.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they also have that unique, hero selection with like special abilities and whatnot, which is I would say is a bit similar to Overwatch in that regard.
Yep. Yep. The
Yeah,
heroes and abilities. Yep.
yeah. So I think it's really interesting, and I love first person shooters. I enjoy like the satisfaction of getting like a nice headshot or kill,
Of course.
and clutching like acing it or clutching just always feels so satisfying.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think that's the strengths of the genre, but obviously there are some weaknesses that come with this sort of game in general, just because it can be very samey, it can be a bit repetitive. So like how we when we were playing CS:GO, even we frequently got like quite tired of the game, and just we ended up like dropping it altogether at some point for Destiny actually.
Yeah.
So that was I guess in a way to be expected, like unless you're playing this with the aim to go pro. I think in general everybody will like take breaks because it's a very samey sort of game. It can get really repetitive because you'll be playing the same maps, same guns, same play styles even. So I guess that's one of the weaknesses of the genre in general.
Right. I think one of the strengths of Valorant though is that because they have that unique hero selection and skills, it's so much different from CS:GO because each game can be considered different, and like not everyone's playing that same character that can't really do anything, and it can lead to many different interesting combinations of like characters, play styles, and like every game can be very different and interesting.
Yep, yep, that's totally true. And I guess, but the one strength CS:GO does have is it has way more maps, which is really important because maps
Yeah.
are what make the whole game essentially. Like, I mean, the other half of the game at least. Valorant currently has 5 maps, and that is really not enough for a 5v5 competitive shooter. Like, for reference, CS:GO has about 15, 16 per rotation because like they rotate in and out somewhere there at least.
And that's not even including like the battle pass like maps that like come in seasonally, stuff like that.
Mhm. Yep, 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 definitely. So that's something Valorant really has to, I think, speed up development on. Like they're releasing one map every 5, 6 months, which is really slow. I think they really need to bump it up. Like this is, it's really not a good look having only 5 maps for a competitive game. I'm sure a lot of people have quit just because of that. Anecdotally, I have some friends who actually quit Valorant because of this.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially because the new map Icebox is one of the more hated maps. So
Hmm.
so yeah, we hate it personally as well. And it's pretty bad because like if your new map is like if people don't want to play that map at all, then like essentially you're just back to like your original 4 maps, and that already
Yeah,
wasn't enough, and it's just like you just kind of have a bit of a useless map where people just kind of like dislike playing on it and stuff.
yeah, exactly. That's a really huge weak point. Like to this day, people still dodge icebox. Literally just now, somebody dodged icebox when we were queuing. it's really just really not a good map. It's too open, too the sight lines are a bit too weird. I mean, open maps when done right can be nice, like in CS:GO. If I remember correctly, I think Dust was a pretty sort of it was a mixture map. There was like some
Yeah.
open spots and then some very closed off spots, and I think
Yeah.
that's cool. But I think Icebox is just a bit too. It was a bit too iffy. Like the entire B side's a bit too open, and then A side is better designed, but not amazing still.
I think that's also another strength of CS:GO. Like their map design, like not only do they have so many maps, I feel like a lot of maps, in my opinion, like I always can find it very easy to get used to, like even within like one game, and I feel like generally they're designed pretty damn well. Like, and like there was previous issues such as like cobblestone, like which they had to retweak and stuff like that,
Right.
and some other maps which they tweaked further as well. But at the end of the day, I felt like the map design was not something that I felt was a weak point, and I always felt like it was comfortable playing on like all their maps.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. So, some takeaways for Riot Games: please develop better maps. Maybe follow Ascent. Ascent is, I think, easily their best map. So maybe they should try to emulate that in a different way. Of course, not the same type of map, but just in a way, just design it in that sort of way with that sort of mentality. Not so much the icebox mentality.
I agree.
Yep.
I also
So
really like Split aside from Ascent.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Split's a really nice map. Yep, I agree.
I'm sure
And
Split has its problems like that. I can't particularly point out what exactly, but I do feel like, I'm very comfortable playing on that map. I feel like there are enough lanes to like like push and attack, as well as like the defense
right.
feels. And generally, it just feels pretty balanced between attack and defense.
Yep, I agree. Split's another really good one. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
those two are probably the best maps in the game at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah, the 2 out of 5 maps. But yeah,
Hey, that's a
so we'll have to
40%.
work on that. Yeah, 40%. Wow, good stuff. But my favorite part of Valorant is hearing those very interesting one-liners at the beginning of every
Right.
round. Yeah, it's my favorite. I love when Omen randomly tells Sage, oh, the life you give. Do you ever wonder where it's taken from? And she doesn't answer, and just nothing happens. It's great, and nobody knows what the heck is going on because nobody explains any sort of lore. It's that's another area they really have to improve. It's not like CS:GO where I don't know, you just go there and
Yeah.
plant a bomb and then CTs try to defuse it or something. But like this game tries to have lore, but I think it's not doing a good job at fleshing it out like Overwatch does.
I think CS:GO is completely fine in the sense that like you're supposed to play as like terrorists or counter terrorists, and like those don't need lore, right? You just
Yeah,
the
yeah, of
basic
course.
gist of each round or each story is just like you as a terrorist either plant the bomb and like stop the CTs from defusing it, or as a CT
Yep.
you just stop the terrorists, and that means you completed your objective. Hooray, you're the heroes and stuff.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, whereas Valorant is doing this half-ass thing where like there are some details about either the maps or voice lines that there's some certain lore or like mystery behind it.
Yep, yep.
But like they clearly
it's
don't
not
flesh it
enough.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would compare it to something like Overwatch, where Overwatch, each map, each like they have their own cutscenes and everything, and like
Right.
each interaction of each character feels alive. It feels like very immersive.
And they also have online resources, so you can actually read up about the lore, which is something Valorant doesn't have either.
Yes, they have like stuff like comics, their animated shorts, which are like
Yep.
amazing. That's so great.
So good. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and Valorant, has their sort of like the animated stuff, but it's like it's very few and far between, and like like the whole one liner at the start, like they're clearly trying something, but it's like it's so half-assed that it's just the moment you hear that, it just feels very like annoying, and
It's
like
like,
there's this yeah.
yeah, especially after you've heard it like 500 times, it's so annoying.
Yeah, like okay, not only that is there not enough voice lines, like it's also very like immersion breaking. Like every time you hear it, you just like get
Yeah,
reminded that it's not good enough.
it's meaningless essentially.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Whereas like something like say like Mercy and Reaper's interactions, like their backstories stuff like, or Reaper died and like Mercy somehow raised him and stuff like that at like the old
Yeah.
Overwatch headquarters, and it all the lore completely fits up. The characters feel alive and good, and Not to
Yeah.
mention their voice acting, which is I feel also another like downside of like Valorant's characters.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. Only certain characters have like a good voice line and a good decent character design. Like, I mean, I might be biased. I like Omen's voice lines and character design. Sky is also great. Astra is the new character. Astra is pretty decent.
Yes.
Killjoy is the worst creation known to man. So bad.
Yeah,
I hate
I
Killjoy.
think visually I think their characters look fine. Like
Yeah.
there's some notable exceptions. I would say stuff like Phoenix, Astra. They have very beautiful beautiful designs. Sorry. Yeah, and I can tell that there's a lot of effort in the aesthetics and whatnot, but like the voice lines just feel very sometimes feel very forced or sort of like dead inside. Like,
Yeah, it's like I actually really like the character designs of the characters. They're really nice. Like Omen is the very typical edgy type, and then Phoenix is like a supposed to be like a cocky dude, and like their like attire and whatnot. It really like reflects that. They do a good job of that. At
yeah.
least I think that's a strong point of theirs. But like they really need to work on like natural voice acting. I think it doesn't sound natural, and they just talk to themselves. It's not really entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, and you just hear it every single one. It's just
Yep.
uh,
So
you get sick of it like very quickly.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So another thing to talk about is actually the cosmetics and like what they're priced at, which could be quite unreasonable. It's a bit expensive because like unlike CS:GO, you can't resell your skins on a market. Once you pay, your money's gone forever. So you can't like when you sell a skin, you can't get any money back or anything because there's no selling. Like in CS:GO, I used to like flip skins a lot. I used to like buy a skin that I liked, and then when I get bored of it, I just sell it and then buy a new one. Right? It's fun that way. So I don't invest that much money. But like if I want to do the same for Valorant, I need to keep pumping money like continuously in, and it gets expensive that way. I think if you just keep buying skins and stuff, and not to mention Radianite points, which is the stuff that you use to upgrade your skin so that it has like the fancy visual effects and sound effects. That costs a bomb if you don't buy the battle pass. It's like absolutely insane prices.
I
What do you think about cosmetics?
Yeah, regarding their pricing and whatnot, like like I guess you can call it an investment, I guess, but like I feel like their pricing is sort of a bit ridiculous, especially for some of the quality of their skins. I feel like some of their skins look, oh god, they're not very aesthetically pleasing, and like I'm sure I have some biases, but like I do feel as though the skins are not worth the asking price. It's way too expensive, especially for like full sets, like for example the new like Prime 2.0 and whatnot. Like in order to buy that, that's roughly like what was it 90 or 100 something Singapore dollars?
For which one?
Prime 2.0, for example, if you want to buy the full set.
Oh, yeah, that was it was like basically $108. I think you had to buy the $108 pack to afford it anyway. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's roughly like 70 to 80 USD.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is no joke. Like that's a lot of money
yeah,
to be spending on a game that you can't invest. If you know what I mean, you can't like sell the skins and buy a new one or
yeah.
anything. It's gone.
I mean, beyond that, like even CS, like if I want to buy a minimal wear, like classified skin, which is like the light bright pink one, the bright
Mhm.
pink quality, or like even a covert skin, like for some of them,
Which is
like
the rare
yeah, I
quality.
can buy those for like what $10 a piece, and like those designs are made by the community, and they have very talented and skilled artists, and
Mhm.
those some a lot of the skins I can depend on for being very high quality and like looking very very good and like being themed correctly around like each case and whatnot. I mean, obviously the downside is microtransactions and whatnot,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah.
could buy them on the Steam market for much less, and they would just look so much better.
Right. Actually, I do think Valorant skins look very nice. Like visually they are very pleasing, and I think they look better than CS:GO skins in general because like they have like the special effects and whatnot. It's very nice in a vacuum. If you
Yes.
don't pay attention to the price, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I really like how their skins look like
Hmm.
and everything, but it's just it's just the price that always stops me from buying skins. Because like as you know, I bought the initial Prime bundle, which
Yes.
was 7,100 Valorant points, which is about it was a $80
Hmm.
pack, I think, somewhere there, like 75
Yeah.
$80. And I mean, I don't regret it, but it's also like kind of sucky that I can't, like sell it or exchange it or something.
Yeah. Cause
But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But
hmm.
I mean, I like the Prime skins, but it's yeah, it can be a bit painful to
Hmm.
constantly have to pump in money because you see this shiny new skin.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't buy new skins that much
Hmm.
anymore. Like, I mean, not nearly at that level, at least not at that price.
Hmm. Valorant definitely has the advantage of skin quality in the sense that like because all of their gun models are 3D, so they can make it look so much more visually interesting and cool looking and change
Mhm.
the entire design itself. And
Yep.
with the whole VFX and everything, I think it looks great. But like another part of that whole VFX is buying Radianite points, which I think is just absolute horse shit. Like that's so
Yep.
greedy and like money grubbing. Like the fact that I paid this much, like 100, for example, if I paid like $100 for the entire set of skins, I better not have to pay like for the freaking visual effects. Like those those
Yeah.
visual effects are advertised to me as a consumer, like as part of like this whole like package, right? Like if
Mhm.
I buy this skin, I should expect to see this fantastic new animation or something like that,
Yeah.
or
I
sound effects. Yeah.
Yep.
So why do I have to pay Radiant points or like buy the better pass to get Radiant points? Which, while it is like better than straight up buying Radiant points, is not a solution for what they currently have.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's a classic business tactic where they price it stupid high. The price of Radiant points, they just price it insanely high, and then they put a bunch of it in the battle pass to make it seem like the battle pass is a huge bargain because they're adding all these Radiant points in.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's not definitely not a solution to the
Yeah.
problem. Like I think Radiant points shouldn't have been a thing, but it's obviously a financial decision by them.
Oh, definitely. I think if you want any reference, you can just look at League of Legends. I think some people have mentioned like some of their skins are pretty expensive and whatnot, and it's just
Yep.
man.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like as far as I've heard, League of Legends seems a bit better in that sense. Like they just have like the shop, it doesn't rotate, so you have to like freaking, so you don't have that FOMO essentially, which is
Yeah.
better, and they don't have Radiant points or anything similar to it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's just I think in that sense it's better, and
Yeah.
I think eventually as there are like more and more skins, I think Valorant will have to do that. Because if not, like if they're doing this same rotation, because like they have 4 skins on rotation at all times,
Hmm.
but it only rotates once a day, which is
Right.
really bad. The more skins they have, right? So I think eventually they'll have to do like a skin shop kind of thing instead of just having this rotating carousel daily.
I mean, even
Yep.
aside from that, their night market, like the fact that it's not like equal for everyone, and it's even more RNG, which is like completely
Yeah,
insane. You could get like garbage skins that you don't want, and some people could get like
yeah,
knives or like some stuff appearing with like great discounts. Which also,
yep,
by the way, the discounts are also randomized, which is like what the hell?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Everything about the night market is RNG. It's so funny.
yeah, like their monetization model is clearly very greedy, and I
Yeah,
very much
definitely.
dislike that part of Valorant. Like I understand
I
it's a
agree.
free game, but at the same time, you can't, you can only charge people so much, like, and you can only be expected to charge people so much, and
Yep.
you can't keep like trying to squeeze money out of all your consumers and players.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the sad thing is people actually do buy
Yeah.
it, so they have no incentive to stop,
Ugh.
sadly.
Yeah.
So something we'll have to deal with. But yeah, until they actually fix it, which they won't unless the community stops spending. Uh, yeah, this is definitely here to stay. And speaking of skins, and speaking of the battle pass, I feel like the battle pass skins have been declining in quality, to
Oh
say the
yeah.
least.
I definitely agree.
Yeah,
I agree so much.
you in
Mm.
particular are really not a fan of this particular battle pass, whereas I am okay with it. I'm
Mm.
not, because I like the Cavalier. So if you don't know, you can just do a quick Google, just search Valorant current battle pass, and you should be able to see. the current skins in it, and I personally like the Cavalier. I think it's not bad. It's like I think I kind of like the wooden design with like the little lights and stuff. I think it's okay. I don't like Polyfrog. That sucks. And I don't like the other. I don't really like the other one either. What was the other one
Prism
called?
Tree.
Prism 3. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. That's not my style either.
Yeah, for me, I absolutely hate Cavalier. Like, I'm not. Okay, so this is definitely a me problem, but like, I don't particularly like wooden skins. But I do think they can be very tasteful given the. If they're designed well, I think they can look tasteful. But in my opinion, like, aside from the whole wood aspect of it, I feel like it's a very dull and ugly, boring looking skin. And, Polyfrog is, I think it's alright, but like, it's not great either. And I think Prism Tree is fine, but like, that I just feel like this battle pass isn't worth getting. And the previous battle pass I felt was also not my style.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. Yep.
I didn't like Outposts. I didn't like their aerosol. Like, I just felt like that was a very plain, lame looking skin with not much thought put into it aside from graffiti. And
Yep.
I mean, I feel bad for saying it because I'm sure they put effort into it, but I just felt like that wasn't as flashy or as up to like their other skin standards. Oh yeah, so like episode 1, act 2 and 3, the battle passes were great. There was Ruin, Hive Mind,
Yes, those were awesome.
Polyfox, and
I
like
love
a
Druid.
couple. Yeah.
Fox was nice. Yep.
Oh, Red Alert as well.
Red Alert. Yes, I
Yeah,
love that one.
Red Alert is a very simple but striking skin, and I think like that easily beats something like Aerosol, Polyfrog, and like Cavalier.
Yeah, I definitely prefer like Hive Mind, Ruin, like all those skins. I prefer like the battle passes from episode 1, act 2 and 3. I much prefer it over these. These are like really, I think, lacking in quality, to be
Yes.
honest. Yeah.
They definitely do feel like an afterthought and whatnot. And not to mention, like, in general, just the battle pass doesn't seem that great. Like, there's a lot of sprays and banners and titles in it, which is like, if you compare it to something like, so I've also been playing Apex Legends a lot, and I feel like Apex Legends has such a good battle pass. Not only do they give you the premium currency back, like, which is fantastic.
Right.
Even their holo sprays or like their small little effects and voice lines and stuff, like, they're so much more visually appealing and interesting, and like there's clearly much more effort and value in like the battle pass compared to Valorant.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That's
oh,
that's
sorry.
true.
But yeah, I just feel like there's so much more rewards in the battle pass as well. In the
Yep.
Apex ones, like you also get loot crates and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. They even give you like legendary skins right off the bat, like which is like
Oh, that's true.
great.
I like that. I like that scene. But anyway, that's
Yeah,
for the Apex episode, which you guys should stay tuned for because it's coming soon. I mean,
very
we'll see.
soon.
We'll see. So, yeah. So, anyways, as far as upcoming skins goes, to be honest, I don't really know much about anything upcoming because, like, obviously they purposely don't reveal any of
Yeah.
the skins that are upcoming because they keep us on our toes or whatever. But the previous paid skins were, I mean,
The
obviously
latest ones.
very nice. Like
No, the latest one is the World War II theme one.
the latest one, yeah, the latest one sucks. It's just infantry. It's just basically it just looks like old World War II weapons. Like like the Guardian would be the M1 Garand. If you know what that is.
Yeah. Basically, just a bolt
Like
action rifle.
yeah. It's the bolt action rifle, and they just basically remake the guns into the theme of World War II weapons, and they make it sound a bit different. As I think, like like for the M1 Garand skin, like they sort of add like a little click when you're at your final bullet, which I think is historically accurate, which is something, I guess. That's cool. But no, my thing, the previous skins I think were really nice, like Prime 2, Glitch Pop 2, all those twos, they were really nice. Ion was another really nice one. I
Oh
think,
yes.
I mean, in general, just all their previous big skin packs were, I mean, the expensive skin packs were really good.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing to get right. Like their expensive skin packs are, they clearly look very, very visually appealing and interesting.
Yes.
So they want people to buy those.
Definitely.
But
Yep.
the weird and one of the weird things I would say is the Karambit like Prime 2.0 skin.
Yeah, that is odd.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
heck?
You should definitely look it up. It looks like a freaking like I don't know, a lockpick tool of sorts.
Yeah, search Prism 2 Karambit.
The Prime
looks
2.0.
really weird. Sorry, Prime 2. Yeah, sorry, Prime 2 Karambit. Yes, search that. It looks really odd. It looks like a lockpick or
Yeah.
something. Like, what the heck it's supposed to be.
If you want to know how a regular Karambit looks like, you can also search it up, or you can search CSGO Karambit, and you'll see the big difference between that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, speaking of skins, don't you love it when the community, when when we're playing a game and they constantly ask you for a skin that you have? That's really fun.
Can't really relate because you've bought so much skins and I actually rarely have bought skins.
That's true.
The only skin that I've committed to buying is the Dragon. God, what's it called?
Yeah,
The Elder Flame Vandal, which I thought looked fantastic. You know, the sound effects and everything are so satisfying, and the animations look so good. Like,
right. That's for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Yeah, everybody just keeps asking me for all of my skins, and that can get annoying at times. But the community in general, I think honestly, the community in general is better than other like competitive shooters,
Hmm.
like compared to CS:GO and compared to Overwatch. I think
Yeah.
the community is much better. Like they're
Hmm.
much more tolerant, I think, and
Hmm.
they are much less ragey, much less angry.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
community is
definitely.
better overall.
That was also one of the deciding factors of like me quitting CS:GO. Like, I love CS:GO. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the gunplay. I love the way it feels. Like, it feels so great. But one of the main reasons I left was just that the community in general. Like, so many of the games were toxic and so frustrating to a point where, like, I got so like frustrated and angry while playing them. And you don't really play games to get pissed off, right? So it's just
Yeah, of
it,
course.
and it's so frustrating. It's just I much prefer this community. This community certainly has its problems. Like every other competitive game, people are going to be toxic, but I'm glad that in general this community just seems much improved. Like it's not constantly toxic. It's like I can play games and
Yeah,
like even though sometimes I do bad, sometimes teammates will come and say, hey, it's okay. We all have bad days and stuff like that. And I think that's very
yeah.
nice.
Something that almost never happens in like CS:GO and Overwatch. Like every time you're doing bad, either they just don't say anything, which is the best for those games, best case scenario, honestly, or they'll just be like, "Oh, you are such an awful player," which with like 1,000 expletives, like just. Whereas, like at least in this game, if you're not doing well, there's like a good chance they won't say anything, or they'll just be like, say, "Ah, no worries, it's all good. We all have bad days, whatever,"
Yeah, yeah.
which is great. I hope the community stays this way, like,
Yes,
cause
please.
yeah, I don't want it to get more toxic. Like, that would be
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, that's one of the things that actually happened to Overwatch. I bought the game like I think a month after it came out, because my
Hmm.
classmates were playing it, and like initially it was so friendly. People would like run to your spawn right before the game started and like wave hi to you and like just
Oh
sort
yeah,
of like teabag the floor, and you can like sort of like do things with others. But I think as time grew on and the competitive scene grew bigger, just people became so much more toxic and like with the
yeah,
whole one tricking stuff and like purposely like interlocking DPS and whatnot. It was
yeah. It
just it
was.
got very frustrating and it got out of hand.
Yeah, I'm
So,
just glad it hasn't happened to Valorant just
yeah.
yet. It's still fine. I think Valorant is still good, and I hope the community just remains. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
So,
sorry.
yeah. What?
I,
Sorry,
want,
no.
I wanted to bring up something as well. Like talking about
Yeah.
Overwatch and like DPS locking. In
Mhm.
Valorant, you notice that there's always going to be people who are willing to flex, like go Sage or
Oh,
go any
yes,
kind of smoke
yes.
and stuff like that. Aside from DPS, I mean, you do sometimes get DPS locks, but there's quite a lot of people who are willing to just like swap to a different hero and like play a different role that is like
Yep.
essential to the team.
Which is so nice. Such a change from like back when Overwatch didn't have role queue. It was awful. Everybody would just lock DPS characters right off the bat, and it was very annoying.
Yeah.
Like at least in this game, there's still a few insta locks, but it's not nearly as bad. People are willing to play other roles and just not be the damage dealer. Like they're fine. Like, which is great. That's
Yeah.
another really good thing for this community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up is a little spicy topic. The whole esports scene. I guess we should give like a little background of the esports scene first. Right now, Valorant Champions Tour EU and NA Masters is going on right now. Actually, it's quite quite interesting. I've actually watched like a little bit. I haven't watched like all the matches or anything. I just watched like some highlights and stuff, and it was actually not bad. It's quite interesting to watch the pros, but in general, their like competitive scene is not really advertised. Like, I mean, nobody knows that there's even a competition going on. Like, if you look at like the subreddit, or if you just look online in Valorant circles in general, you're not going to see any chatter about the competitions that are happening like right now, which is really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, in other games, like at least they're like promoted, but like in this game, it doesn't even seem like they're promoted. Just like there's a little a bubble in game that I think it's a link to the Twitch stream or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's it. It's the only form of advertising they ever do for their pro games, which is obviously not enough. So probably do something about that.
It is really strange coming from Riot as well, given that their League of Legends esports scene,
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
their League of Legends esports scene is it's booming.
it's
Like
it's
like
huge.
MOBAs in general, like like Dota to League of Legends, like they have such a big esports scene. So like it's really weird and also a bit questionable why isn't Riot promoting like their Valorant competitive scene at all?
Yeah, which is yeah, exactly. It's so odd. Like I mean, they clearly know how to do it with League of Legends. I don't know why they're not doing it with this game. It's odd, but whenever they do, I guess we'll see more like involvement, even with like the pros, or like just maybe more highlights or whatever, something.
Yeah, I don't know. Even CS:GO has like such a huge esports scene, and like
Yeah,
even like they they sort of like have their streams whenever the esports like world tours or whatever the hell is going on. Like they have it autoplay at the main menu, which is I have to admit it's kind of annoying and loud. But at least you can tell they take some effort into trying to like advertise and promote it. Whereas like this is just
yeah. This is,
I don't even know when each like esports tournament is like coming up.
me neither. I have no clue when anything happens in this game. So,
Yeah, and there's barely any community talk about it.
yep, yep. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that's not nearly as not the it's is the Sinatraa controversy. So
Oh.
if you guys don't know, Sinatraa, the pro player, has been accused of sexually abusing his girlfriend. So that's not good. And the thing is, she had really like a lot of audio logs and
Yeah.
text logs and a lot of proof. So I mean, obviously, I guess the investigation is still going on, so we can't say for sure. But it really looks bad for Sinatraa right now.
Yeah, I gotta say, with like the audio logs and stuff, and like having such concrete evidence, it's like you just can't be on Sinatra's side, man. Like don't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. Like, it's one thing to be completely neutral until the investigation's complete or whatever. But you really, I don't think you should be on Sinatra's side per se.
Yes.
It's really yeah, it's not a good look for him at all. And if the allegations are true, I hope he's punished
I hope
accordingly.
so. I hope he's banned from Valorant. Like,
Oh, they already removed his. I mean, they didn't let him participate in the NA Masters.
that's good. That's good. Yeah, I
Yep.
feel like a lot more, like influencers, esport bros, stuff like that. Like anyone who is in like a position of power or like who is like has sort of a celebrity status, they need to
Mhm.
have like much more heavy-handed punishments than what a lot of people have currently received. Like
Mm.
I sorry previously received. Like sometimes some celebrities and like esport pros, they don't get punished as much as they really should be, especially for something like this, which is like you hear so much like sexual harassment in like gamer circles, and it's very frustrating to hear that. And as a
Mhm.
community, we have to put our foot down and say like this is not okay. We have to
Yep.
punish them accordingly and remove them
Definitely.
from our scene so that it's more legitimate. Like we legitimize our scene to the mainstream, and you just want a more safer, less toxic community.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like this, uh, you know, if the allegations prove to be true, I really hope he's purged from the scene. I mean, he's essentially already been sort of purged from the
Yeah.
scene, like now, because I mean, the evidence was so clear. But yeah, so Hopefully that gets sorted out. I think the case is going to. I think the case is going to court. Like they both have
Ah,
lawyers and stuff.
wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like I think it's going to court. Like but as of now, so his girlfriend made the allegations, and then like a couple days later, he released like a lawyer statement, like a
Right.
statement from his lawyers saying that like I deny all accusations, and I'll be settling this with her through all legal means. Which I mean,
Uh,
if you're accused of something, this is what you have to do. So this is just by the book.
it's
So
literally just a standard like, the standard defense everyone puts out. Literally, like everyone who's getting sued, like they just say, "Oh, I deny all allegations, or this and that." Yeah, we'll be
yeah.
settling
Well, I
this
mean,
in
they can't
court.
say like, yes, I agree. I am awful. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
usually they do. I sometimes they do actually. Like some people do. Like,
Mm,
yeah, I did it. I did some regrettable things, and I apologize, and I'll take whatever punishment. And mad respect to those people.
mm.
They're willing to own up. But
Well,
like 99% of people just don't. They'll just do the lawyer
yeah.
thing, which is whatever. Everybody does it, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean,
So
it kind of shows no remorse, and I mean,
mm.
some amount of respect to the people who own up to it, but they shouldn't be doing it in the
I,
first
of course,
place.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like, oh man, my opinion has completely changed on you beating somebody up because
God,
you owned up to it. Haha.
God, you'd be
Like,
surprised at the amount of people's opinions who change just when they release an apology statement, like as if the victim should just be able to get over it just because they apologize. Like, nah, that's
no,
not how
yeah,
that works.
that happens way too much. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yep.
moving on from this sort of controversy and like depressing topic, I think that's
Yes.
about it for our Valorant episode.
Yeah, yeah, that's about it. We don't have anything more to cover. That's about it for what's going on in Valorant right now,
Yeah, you
and
know,
our very hilarious commentary on it.
yes, we are so funny. I am a
Of course, of
comedian.
course.
Please laugh at
If
my
this
jokes.
podcast it doesn't work out, I should be a stand-up. So
Ah, yes,
you know,
if this podcast doesn't work out, I'll be at clubs, telling you jokes. Please come, please. I need the money.
all right. So, and we've come to the end of bite-sized pixels. I'm Farhan. She's M, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.